Welcome to Fear Coded, a podcast where we talk about media from the horror genre and take a queer reading of a single book, video game, film, podcast, or TV show to explore just how queer horror can be. Today we continue to sit at the kids' table, a month dedicated to kid-friendly horror, as we feast upon 1994's The Tale of the Dangerous Soup, the Season 3 episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I'm Tyler.
I'm David.
I'm Marilee.
And I'm Katie.
That's
Yay!
right. We couldn't handle all of these dangerous soup orders alone and needed to bring in some help. So thankfully, Katie from the Novel Gaming Podcast has swooped in to assist. Katie, for the first time ever, welcome to Fear Coded.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here with y'all. On Novel Gaming, a podcast I do on Glitterjaw, we sometimes read some horror, sometimes play some horror games, and I'm not great at them always. So I'm very happy to be invited to the kids' table for this.
Katie, I just listened to your Dear Mothman episode, and
Yes.
I know you were talking about, like, there's horror, but it's also quite, like, emotionally, like, gripping, and
Yeah.
you just want to, like, hug the main character, and it's like, oh, that was such a wonderful episode, and I'm, like, a huge Mothman fan. Marilee can also attest that we are such huge Mothman fans here. So getting to hear you all talk about Dear Mothman, it's such a wonderful book, was so wonderful. So everyone, please go listen to Novel Gaming.
Yeah.
Especially the Dear Mothman episode. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It really was. Like, I did the thing we kind of were talking about a little bit before record. Like, I listened to you guys talk. I paused it. It was like, okay, I gotta go read this book. And then I did, and I circled back around. It was such a beautiful conversation about a really wonderful book, and I just enjoyed it so much.
That makes me so happy to hear. And yes, like, that book is such a standout, and I don't know, talking about it. The books, I mean, I like talking about all books, but the books that, like, bring up emotion, because it doesn't always happen when you're reading, at least for me. So having that is really special, and being able to get, like, Vicky and Doug to partake and talk about it, and then to hear y'all doing it too. Very sweet, very amazing.
Now, Katie, I've got to let you know, this is some David lore here. My first exposure to you, Katie, was not from Novel Gaming. I heard you as a guest on the Last of Us episode a long time on Gimmicks, and I was like, well, I've got to go check this out, and that made me a super fan of Novel Gaming. So I, throughout my entire Glitterjaw history, I have done my darndest to listen to everything Doug and Derek make without listening to Walloping Web Snappers for the longest time. I just came so circuitously, a roundabout way of coming to all of this wonderful media, but I was obsessed. You all do these wonderful gaming episodes to talk about video games in similar ways that we have. We've shouted you out when you all talked about Gone Home, quite a while before we ended up talking about it on the podcast. And I've got to say, Katie, you're the kind of gamer I wish that I was.
Oh no, what does that mean?
Well, the actual gamer I am is Vicky. I'm here for an achievement. I'm not here for a good time. I'm here to turn video games into work. Thank you very much.
Actually, I was recently listening to your Until Dawn episode, and that came through very strongly.
Yeah. But every time Katie expresses joy about a video game, I'm like, David, you could be like this. You could be happy playing games. But then
we get joy in different ways.
We get joy in different ways.
Okay.
This explains a lot about the episodes we've recorded on video games, David.
Yes, absolutely incredible. I also love all of the lists you all have done over the years.
Oh my God.
If anyone's...
Your list episodes are some of my favorite podcasts that I've ever heard. They're so fun.
If Novel Gaming is brand new to any of you listeners, the list episodes are some of the greatest places to get started because it is a very low threshold for entry. You can get right in there and enjoy what Katie, Doug, and Vicky are talking about, and it is a great time, and maybe it will set you up for success with other things in the backlog.
Yeah. I think the first Novel Gaming episode that I listened to was your first episode on the backlog challenge, where you guys were, like, setting up the rules and stuff. And that's also, I think, a really great place to start.
Yeah, y'all are so kind. One, thank you for listening. Two, thank you for being willing to shout stuff out on those things. Like normally when we do book club episodes or game club episodes, we end up spoiling. So a lot of the times when we do the lists or the challenges, we keep it much kind of broader, not spoilery. So if you want to hear about video games, but not hear the details and spoilers about video games, those are great places. And we always welcome folks to join in with us on challenges, whatever time you start or want. That backlog challenge has truly changed the way I game. Still, I'm much less like, let me buy everything right now.
Yeah.
So it's got some staying power, at least for me.
It's wonderful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank all the bats in our belfry for being part of our amazing community by supporting our Fear Coded Patreon. Thank you to Will, Knight of Cups, Doug, Jacob, Alyssa, Blake, Puckish Rogue, Tyler, Derek, and Maureen. Now, before I start baiting the pots and pans, I want to check in with my co-host and our guests to see how things are going for them. In the landscape of horrors that our real world has to offer, what are y'all reading, watching, playing, or thinking about? Wait, no, that's not right. That's novel gaming. In the landscape of horrors that our real world has to offer, what's making you scared or prepared? Katie, as our guest, I'd love to start with you.
Yeah. And I am going to say I'm feeling prepared today.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, starting off strong, but
Start
no
strong.
pressure to any who follow. And part of why I'm feeling prepared is because I truly love fall, autumnal seasons. And I mean, we watched an episode about soup, and I literally, like, the past couple days made my first soup of the season. So I am prepared for soup season and to keep it strong now that temperatures are getting a little more chilly.
Incredible.
Katie, I gotta know, what was the soup?
Yes, it's I made a crock pot, like veggie. All my soups really turn into stews because I always put too many ingredients in.
Yeah.
So it was really
Classic.
like more like a stew, but it's just like a veggie. It's got some potatoes, some peas, some corn, some carrots, some celery. Basically whatever I had, let's dump it in and put some seasoning on there.
Sounds
Delicious.
Incredible, and
Yeah.
so autumnal.
That is
Yes.
fantastic. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
I was getting into character for this this episode.
Was it a safe soup though, or was it a dangerous soup?
This one was safe, unfortunately. I would love to try a dangerous soup. Maybe if I let it sit out a little bit longer, it would have turned a little dangerous, but I caught it before it turned itself off.
Fair enough.
Oh my god.
Katie, do you mess with chili at all? Like a vegan chili? Would you make as part of soup season?
Absolutely. I love a chili and definitely going to get that. I feel like chili, the deeper I get, I don't know how y'all feel about soup seasons and stuff. The deeper I get into soup season, the more I'm likely to do a chili because it's just like heartier,
Agreed. Agreed.
warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katie, I think I'm our unofficial fear-coded soup correspondent, so I am
Hell yeah.
all about these soup recipes. If you have any, please send them to me because I am itching to use my crock pot.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet.
That. It has not been cold enough in Texas to really do chili. Like I obviously broke it out and made a Halloween chili because that's the weird tradition
yeah.
that I have now.
Yeah.
But like it's still too hot to really enjoy a soup, and that is breaking my heart because I love a soup.
Yeah. Do you ever, this is a weird thing. You ever do the cold soup?
The gazpacho?
Gazpacho, there it is.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Have I made myself a gazpacho? No. Do I buy spicy V8 and say, yes, I'm drinking a gazpacho? Yes, I do.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Genius.
Amazing.
Apparently.
Where do you land on this, Katie? Are you a gazpacho fan or do you like a cold soup?
So I've never had gazpacho, like actually, but for a long
Have
time.
you had V8? Because it's the same thing.
I have had V8, so I guess I have had gazpacho. I just didn't see it that way, you know?
Oh, they just sell gazpacho in a bottle and just call it V8? That's incredible.
Well, this is why I was asking, because here, when I go to the grocery store here in Spain, there are only 3 types of cereal I can buy, but there is an entire aisle of pre-made gazpacho in cartons ready to purchase, and it is a very standard thing to eat as part of a meal, very rarely as a full meal by itself. And let me tell you, these things vary wildly. There have been some that taste like fish. There are some, they have like a seafood component to them. It is incredible, and it's hard for me to find the right one because what I want is V8, Marilee. what I want,
Yes!
what I want is Mr. T's Bloody Mary mix. But what I am getting are these sort of bizarre concoctions. A lot of things with cream already in them, and I think finding one without cream would also benefit my search.
Interesting.
I will say the best gazpacho I ever had, it was like part of a set menu I was at a restaurant once, and they had as an appetizer, it was a spicy, like a jalapeno watermelon gazpacho. And I don't really like watermelon, but like the mix of the tomato, the watermelon, and the jalapeno, and just like this icy cold soup. I dream about that soup regularly.
Yeah, that sounds
That
good
was a
and
dangerous
refreshing.
soup. It was a dangerous soup to me because I'll never have it again because it was part of a set menu at a restaurant that I had like 5 years ago.
Only one taste per your life.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
That's the
Katie,
one.
not only am I delighted that you're prepared, but I am delighted that someone else on this podcast is prepared about food because normally that is what I have to do. And today is no different. I come prepared and it's food related. So put another notch on the headboard, fear-coded listeners. David talks about being prepared because of food. But listen, this one's serious. It's a big deal. It's potato related.
Ooh.
Okay, see, I've already got your attention, but it gets better. We have been going to a local bar, which is called El Salon. It's a lot of fun. And the proprietor has scored a very specific type of potato that he uses to not make patatas bravas, which are the common fried potato covered with brava sauce, which is some combination of spicy tomato and like a mayonnaise dressing. And instead, he is making patatas bravas with tater tots.
Oh, whoa.
And because of our friendship, he has agreed to let us order tater tots alongside his order so that we can have them at our home, because otherwise they are unattainable.
Oh my God. Where does he get them?
Wow.
He gets them from a special, like meal, like restaurants order food from other places. And this was in their catalog. And he was like, I want these. And the guy was like, nobody orders these. And he's like, yeah, but
That's why I want them. Wow.
Incredible.
Well, I am now feeling prepared myself because I'm really excited to eat some food after we're done recording. I've eaten a protein bar and a fiber bar today, and now I'm just thinking, my God, nothing sounds better than like a big soup or a bunch of potatoes.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to be getting myself either a big soup or a bunch of potatoes when we're done here.
That's
And
incredible.
I'm
That sounds
very
incredible.
prepared because of that.
That's Tyler,
Yeah.
is your actual answer prepared? You know, this is important. We keep stats on this stuff. Do we actually sway you into preparedness over the idea that food is soon to come?
Yes. I was
Wow.
initially prepared because I was
Amazing.
like, okay, I'm trying out a video game. It's like in just like the trial period this weekend, and it's pretty fun. It's called Arc Raiders. It's something I've never really played before. It's like an extraction shooter, I think. And
Oh.
like basically you go in and you just take stuff and then you try to escape, but there's other players and then environmental enemies. They're like robots or whatever. That are trying to kill you and steal your stuff. So it's a little bit like, it's a little stealthy, but I also found it like kind of meditative as well, just going solo and running through like a desert area that's like actually very beautifully done. But that is no longer why I'm prepared. I am instead prepared because I'm really excited to eat some soup. I said it before, I'm getting over a cold right now. I actually have not had a single, no, this is a lie. I had 2 wonton soups. But I want like a real like hearty stew. I'm craving like a stew, baby. Yeah. So, you know,
Soup is important for your health.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Especially
totally
when
agree
you're
with
sick,
you.
So
Listen,
So-
soup heals not only the body but the soul, and we all know this.
We do.
Mhm.
We do. Marilee, the stakes are high coming into this question. Today, are you feeling scared or prepared?
I'm trying really fast to think of a prepared because
No. Bring it.
It's okay.
Bring it.
Bring it.
Bring the
It's
fear.
okay.
Bring the fear.
Okay. Yeah, just not to combo breaker 2 episodes in a row, but I'm feeling really scared today.
Why? What is bringing you to the scared space today, Marilee?
I have had a really stressful week, and like the part of the because I've been so stressed and I've got so much stuff going on, it's not a migraine, thank God, but like I've had a low grade headache for like 2 days now, and it's fucking killing me. And I just like I took some more Tylenol right before we started to record, and like it's fine. Like I'm beginning to feel a little bit of relief from that, but like I don't know if I'm just dehydrated, it's attention because I'm like so stressed or like what is going on, but I simply hate this.
Yeah, that sucks.
I do not blame you, Marilee. Like we talked about this in our Fear Coded Discord, but we have been beset by maladies, like truly.
Yeah,
like, for this past week,
horrors.
and then you and I both had to do the notes while we were beset by maladies, and it's just like, you know what? That's the way the colds and headache season rolls.
Yeah.
David was over here just being like, I'm drawing my little drawings. I got nothing to do this week for Fear Coded.
Feeling great.
Feeling great. Not a worry in the world.
I love this for you. David, you deserve that. Like,
yeah, you do. You're normally the one that's beset by maladies or some other trauma. And then Marilee and I are just like, gonna write out the notes for, Terrifier 2 or whatever.
Oh my god.
Thank God I didn't have imagine if I had already having a bad week and then I had to do Terrifier fucking 2 notes.
Well, of course I picked the notes that David wrote when I'm coming up with that example, so
yeah.
Probably not the best. So.
That was a well-deserved punishment. That was self-flagellation in the highest degree. If I was gonna pick that film, I should have been the one to have to do the notes. I understand.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, it's just been a real bummer for me personally, and I'm looking forward to any of all of the maladies that have been besetting me just calming down for like 5 minutes. That'd be great.
For real.
Yeah. I hope you can rest up or watch some fun things to get your minds off of stuff.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
And
Fingers hydration. Because today we are talking about a liquid. We are talking about the episode The Tale of the Dangerous Soup from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
This is our first time digging into the show, which may or may not have mildly traumatized a generation of people. Are You Afraid of the Dark started off as a Canadian anthology horror show for children. What a terrifying sentence to read. But was televised in the United States by Nickelodeon. The central conceit is that a group of kids and teens called the Midnight Society gather around a campfire to tell scary stories, which are then displayed for the audience to watch along.
The Tale of the Dangerous Soup is the 13th episode of Season 3, which was also the Season 3 finale. The antagonist, Dr. Vink, is a recurring character, having appeared in multiple episodes of the series. A recurring character in an anthology before American Horror Story? Eat your heart out, Ryan Murphy.
This episode also features a young Nev Campbell, who we know from Scream. You are a long way from home, Sydney. So what's your experience with A Tale of the Dangerous Soup, and Are You Afraid of the Dark in general? Katie, as our guest, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I definitely watched Are You Afraid of the Dark as a child.
Mm-hmm.
There's one episode that I still remember. It was about like a dead kid. I think it was literally called Frozen Ghost, and he just like says, "I'm cold," and that has like stuck with me forever. And so definitely strong memories. I had not thought really of Are You Afraid of the Dark, probably purposefully, until y'all like brought this up. And then once I started watching, like so many things were flooding back to me of like watching this, but feeling afraid and not wanting to, but kind of liking it. And then again, the frozen ghost child coming up. So I watched it. I enjoyed it. And it makes me want to watch more of them again. Because I watched a lot of it. I don't remember The Dangerous Soup. So this was either new or just gone out of my head and felt like new.
Yeah.
I love the way you describe watching Are You Afraid of the Dark, Katie, because that is like you've put into words the exact feeling I had watching Are You Afraid of the Dark, where it's like I don't know if I want to watch this, but I also kind of do, but it's also kind of scary. Personally, the episode that traumatized me was the monster in the pool.
Oh yeah,
there's some sort of horrible like swamp creature or something in the swimming pool, and then whenever I watched it, I just happened to be like at the beach that weekend.
Terrible timing.
Terrible timing.
Oh my goodness.
What about the rest of you?
Yeah, Marilee, what's your history with this? I don't think I know this.
Yeah, so I loved this show as a kid. Very much that same experience where like I was scared of it, but like I it was the kind of scared that you were enticed by. And I didn't think I remembered this episode. Like when David was the one who picked this, who put it on the schedule, I was like, Dangerous Soup, I wonder what that is. But this is a real true fact, the second the episode opened with the gargoyle in like that like the seeming fog, it all came flooding back to me. Like the image of the gargoyle in the fog. Like I think I thought it took place in like a skyscraper or something. I don't know what I thought was going on, but like I remembered that visual. I remembered this episode. And that was really fun to like rediscover this hidden memory that I didn't realize that had been carrying.
That's so cool.
That is very cool.
David, what about you?
Well, this was a David pick. I thought when we were sort of constructing the kids' horror of it all, I really wanted to feature this because I didn't want to watch this at all. But God bless Nickelodeon marketing. It said, if you want to be a cool teenager, you're going to watch our entire 2-hour block of programming. And so I was SNCC committed from day one, and that block ended with Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I believe that I have seen every episode of this as a child.
Wow.
And I know that I have rewatched them as an adult because we got a totally legal copy of all of them in college and shared them on a totally legal network that we set up with everyone who had Macs in college because they had some weird networking feature that PCs couldn't understand and the university couldn't regulate. And so this was among the shows that we pirated, I guess, essentially to share with each other, and then we would all talk about them. And this was a pretty incredible experience to go through then as a young adult as well. There are a lot that stick out with me. One of them is the night nurse, because she is using needles the whole time. She's really scary and kind of sexy. So I don't know. There's a lot that's working here, but I was SNCC from Clarissa all the way to Are You Afraid of the Dark every single Saturday night.
I think I was too, now that you mentioned it. I was obviously a lot younger because I think that SNCC programming block was maybe like the mid-90s.
Yes.
But I do have strong memories of watching, like, starting off with Clarissa, there's the orange couch on the TV, that we get Kenan and Kel at some point, and then Are You Afraid of the Dark wraps the whole thing up.
Yeah. I had pretty strict amounts of like television that I could watch as a kid, so I definitely didn't watch the whole SNCC block, but I definitely watched at least some of all of the shows that you've mentioned.
Yeah.
God, I just had a horrifying memory of cousin Skeeter.
Yes. Wow.
Incredible.
Talk about fear coded.
Listen, I didn't want to watch scary things, but I didn't want to watch kids breakdancing either. But I was committed, and I had to watch Roundhouse, and then I had to watch Ren and Stimpy, and then I had to watch that Nickelodeon told me how to be a teenager.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I treasure you.
The dedication.
Yeah.
The other reasons that I wanted to choose this one, because it is about fear itself, and Tyler will end up talking a little about that in the themes. But I wanted to pick. A lot of people got their start on Nickelodeon television programming. And so I wanted to get an episode where there was somebody before they were famous. And this is a very, very close to, but a pre-Party of Five Nev Campbell. And wow, she's a good actor compared to everyone else here.
Oh yeah, no, immediately you could tell that she's got star potential. And like, I love that.
What's crazy though, is it's still just like, she's still rough around the edges, but you can like see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved that. What's crazy too is I was going to say when I was doing my research for this episode, I forgot that in 1999, like I think probably near the end of the year, Nickelodeon had a programming block on called Nick Knew Them When, and they would show old episodes of Nickelodeon shows that had special guest stars or just actors that became big household names like Nev Campbell. And this was one of the episodes that showed up. And I actually remember watching that programming block back in 1999.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's awesome, Tyler.
That's wild.
And then the other thing that I really wanted, if I could get it, was Dr. Vink. And to get an episode that had everything going for it really delivered for me.
Yeah, the cast in this was fun, and I'm excited to talk with y'all about everything that happens and what they look like and all that sort of stuff. Nev Campbell was such a surprise and was such a fun thing to like pop open, and then to have Nev Campbell and then Dr. Vink, who is such a character. Great selection.
Absolutely. Real winner here, David.
Did any of you remember Dr. Vink from another episode?
No.
I knew that he was a character because in the description on Paramount it said Dr. Vink returns. Yeah, and just as a fun note, you guys talk about this as being like the last episode of season 3. On Paramount Plus, they do list this as the 5th episode of season 4, by the way.
Get out
They're
of here.
wrong.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here with that nonsense.
So,
oh man.
So Vink was in the pilot, I guess is his sort of trajectory.
Oh.
He actually is only in 4 episodes. So he recurs, but it's not as frequent as maybe you might think. It's like once a season for the first 4 seasons. But his standards, which you get to see in this, is replying, "I'm not a nut job," to which he usually has the call and repeat of somebody calling him a nut job. Here, he just sort of infers it, and then people mispronouncing his name as Fink.
Yeah,
With the
there
the
was
Yeah.
the tough guy in this episode did call him a nut job, whispered it.
He called him a
what it
nut
was.
bag.
Oh, nut bag.
Yeah.
Close, but not
It's
the
difficult
exact
to
same
remember
thing.
all the nut insults from the 90s. There were
Yeah.
just we were really obsessed with nuts back then.
Which
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. We all
you know what?
You know what? I'm not even going to go there.
Yep, I was going to let that ball go right across the plate. That's a strike, and I don't mind.
Well, before we descend too far into nutting, let's go ahead and talk about our themes.
Oh no.
Yes. Tyler has been on fire today.
It's the cold, man. Maybe it's the sickness. It's like that. I don't even know.
You want to
Well,
get
our
down with the
first-
sickness?
Down with the
Yeah,
sickness.
No, I want to get down with our theme. So our first theme is going to be fear itself. We're no stranger to fear. It's kind of our thing here on Fear Coded. And this year we got to watch the clownish embodiment of fear in Star Trek Voyager's The Thaw. This time, a gargoyle makes us see and believe the thing that we fear most is before us. The through-line lesson in this episode is the importance of facing one's fears. That's really important for kids to learn. They're encountering lots of new things for the first time, and the world is confusing. Not everyone in it is as nice as they seem, and yeah, there's people out there who want to hurt you. But we have to face what scares us. We see how small the thing we fear is when we confront it. As adults, especially queer adults, we still deal with fear. It's not always snakes, and hopefully it's never a giant axe blade swaying above us, but we have to deal with other fears. Watching children's horror is a healthy way for us to remind ourselves that fear is important, but it's not something that owns us. So
Yeah.
I feel like our tough guy Reed is kind of like our queer hero in this story.
Yes.
He's someone who is a loner and an outcast. No one really interacts with him except for Nani, Nev Campbell's character. But a big part of his character details is that he is not afraid of Dr. Vink, and he doesn't see what the big deal is. Eventually, he finds out that, and we find out that his fear is actually very, very real, and it's a very real world fear. It's not snakes and knives. It's an abusive family member.
Mhm.
And I think for Are You Afraid of the Dark to go there, even in like kind of like a kid-friendly veneer, is really important for the audience because, you know, there's kids out there who do have abusive family members, and it's good to have representation to show like how do we feel in our different relationships that we don't fully understand or are different and affectionate and caring or fraught and strenuous in another. I think good children's television does a great job of representing that and explaining it, and I think this is an episode that does a pretty solid job of it.
Yeah.
Really
That
nicely
was
said.
beautiful, Tyler. Yeah.
Oh my god, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot for me to add except to say that Are You Afraid of the Dark? It does work as a morality play very often. It does put a little bit of this in, but I think that here what we're doing is not necessarily expecting there to be just lesson learn, but instead we are doing this sort of like the only thing to fear is fear itself, and we're building on that with some truly horrifying visuals. I mean, we are spending some money on snakes. We have set up this scene with the guillotine or the swinging blade, whatever that is called. Not a guillotine.
Pendulum.
Thank you.
Pendulum.
A pendulum, a sharp pendulum, a spooky pendulum. And the terrifying images, I think, really end up selling this. Maybe nobody's in actual danger, but the feeling that we get is that the danger is there. And then that sort of wraps itself up with the wraparound story as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
Yeah.
thought was so neat. That was always my favorite part of Are You Afraid of the Dark was the campfire scenes.
Yes.
And I like how this one bookends so well.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say something. Maybe this is universal. Maybe it isn't. I wanted to be a member of the Midnight Society so fucking bad
100%.
when I was a kid. Right? Like,
Yeah, totally.
No, thank you.
Well, that's why I love. Well, that's why I love getting to talk about horror with you all. Is that it feels like it is our own Midnight Society. Like we do get to talk about we share scary anecdotes, we talk about scary stories, and then we tear them apart or talk about how great they are, and we look for the queerness in them. And I think that's so cool. So I like to think that we are our own sort of Midnight Society of queer people.
Yeah, probably more like a noon though, because we're mostly asleep at midnight.
Oh yeah, for
Noon
sure.
Society. Yeah.
The 3 p.m. Society.
And
Yeah,
I
even
feel
better.
like we're the cast of all that because I'm just here for bits.
Well, David, I'm glad that you can share that with us and admit that you need help, because that's clearly what the thing is here.
Truly.
Which is our next theme, the hardest thing to do. Reed, the male half of our dual protagonist, is a loner. He grew up without his parents, was instead raised by his cruel uncle, who eventually died. It's easy to infer that Reed is more or less a drifter, and Reed admits to Nani that this has made it difficult to ask for help. Nani is the only person he grows close to, and their friendship allows them to survive, ? Their encounter with the Gargoyle and Dr. Vink. I personally really struggle to ask for help. I feel like a bother, and at the end of the day, I'd rather make myself suffer than dare inconvenience someone. Watching this episode felt like a bullseye to my brain. Thank you for that, David. And I could see my unwillingness to ask for help in Reed. Much like Reed, though, finding friends and family who never make you feel like a inconvenience and are always available to help makes me feel more willing to reach out.
Again, beautiful, Tyler. Thank you. For sharing.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I really, really loved this episode. Like, it was actually kind of funny because when I first watched it, I had the windows open and I just went like, wow, this is a really great episode, just to myself as my neighbor walks by walking their dog. Yeah, this is not the first time this has happened. I keep embarrassing myself in front of my neighbor.
Tyler.
It's just in the comfort of my own home.
Absolutely guerrilla marketing the podcast. I love that.
I just have to be like, wow, this was a really good episode that I will talk about on Fear Coded, a podcast part of the Glitterjaw Podcast Collective.
Yes.
What did you all think about this though? Like,
I was just going to say, not embarrassing yourself, but if I heard my neighbor talking about TV shows, that would then give me something to talk to them about. So I was going to feel like you're building community, you know?
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the flip around. See, I'm unintentionally asking for help from you all. And I don't feel like a bother doing so.
Good.
Yeah.
But I think this is also this is like another important lesson for kids to learn, because I think if I had been told this much younger, it would have stuck with me better. But I think the show doesn't, like, this particular episode, it kind of loses this theme, like, once the Gargoyle gets out, which is, like, whatever, it's okay. But I still think that this is, like, a really important lesson for kids to learn, is that it's okay to ask for help, especially, like, I know this was filmed in Canada, so it's based in Canada, but I think American kids are often taught not to ask for help.
Yes.
Just because you are supposed to have, like, a by your own bootstraps mentality. Even as a child. Yeah. So I think something like this is another really great idea to show to children that it's okay.
Yeah. And especially to have like Reed, right? This cool boy teen or young adult do the asking, because masculinity, even more than, like American masculinity, tells you don't ask for help. Your abusive uncle just got to deal with it in silence. Never, confront it. Never think about it. Just kind of keep moving on. And, Reed kind of talks about how isolated he's been. And, we see that with folks who get flavors of toxic masculinity, the isolation. So I feel like there was something really cool around masculinity in this as well.
Absolutely.
I love that. What a wonderful call out.
Yeah. And, I do think, whether or not we're supposed to read Nani and Reed's relationship as like pre-romance, like the fact that he does end up like asking a girl for help and like being able to receive that help in an emotional place, I do think is also like a very anti-toxic masculinity thing to be doing.
Totally. I love that.
And because you all haven't watched every episode of the series as recently as I have, I will just tell you there are not a lot of story characters who are late teen, maybe early adults. It is more typical for the people who are in the scenario to be children that are more recognizable as children. So Reed and Nani are pretty old. I mean, they have like jobs. So I really kind of love that, and you need it to happen for the story, obviously. And they never sort of make people children who shouldn't be children, but it does stand out from other Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes, which is kind of cool. But I love that they're working together. I wish that they had both unionized and fought for better benefits.
I know the real horror is the below minimum wage they're getting for all they're going through.
And you know that he's paying below minimum wage, and he's charging $200 a plate of soup.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It's insane.
Yeah, I looked up how much money that soup would cost now, and it that soup that was $100 in the story is almost $200 now.
Oh, I got soup facts for you here in a bit. Don't worry about it, Tyler. I got you.
I read that. I was reading ahead. I saw David's note. I'm so excited to talk about this.
Yes, but that, okay, well, the story's about capitalism, so is it horror? Yes, we can just move on. No, we can't move on. Just because Ronald Reagan's here doesn't mean we can move on. But of course, of everything that we consider for the podcast, we ask two questions. The first of which is it horror? Were you scared when watching this? Does this belong in our conversation about horror? Katie, you've got plenty of experience with horror in your work at Novel Gaming. Did you feel like this belonged in the horror context?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally about fear. So yes. And it was interesting too, right? The different fears that everybody talks about at the start, and then the fears that we see and the ways they plant those seeds. And then as Tyler talked about, the real life trauma fear of an abusive family member. All that shit is horrifying. Yeah. So I'm definitely, plus they had some fun visuals that were definitely setting the atmosphere to be scary. So yeah, I'm definitely team horror.
Yeah. Speaking of scary visuals, given the way that smoky gargoyle has lived rent free in my brain for decades, I assume this must have scared me a lot as a kid. So I can think of no greater, signpost of, yes, this is horror.
Well, and along with Tajer's performance as Vink saying it knows what scares you every time was so good.
Delicious.
I actually found myself saying it as a vocal tick afterwards, and I just kept on ramping up the intensity of it.
Hell yeah.
Because I was getting high off of NyQuil.
I love that. I love you just looking at your partner, and then there's some inanimate object, and you point at it and go, "It knows what scares you."
I'm going to start doing that.
Please do.
I'm sure Marshall will love that. But yes, I also found this to be quite the frightening episode, and that was one of the reasons why I exclaimed how good it was. Yeah. Because there's some actually scary stuff that happens to these young adults that I'm glad it's not children that are going through it, because it definitely would have been too intense for a 12-year-old to go through what they went through.
Yeah.
So really, really interesting episode. I think probably one of the standout Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes, if I'm being honest. This is really up there. And frankly, when David mentioned that this was an episode about soup, I thought, okay, well, I guess this is one that we're just going to have to get through. But no, truly, it was great.
Yeah. Of course, the ghastly grinner was on my mind. We talked about that when we talked about I Saw the TV Glow with Katie's ghost, Doug. But
great episode, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And I would have loved to have exposed you all to the ghastly grinner, who was scary. I just think that for queer conversations, especially this one's going to give us some mileage, I think. But the last thing I'll say about horror, before I deprive Marilee of an incredible transition, was that the sound, now that I do TV podcasting, I will say I notice things that I didn't used to notice. Editing is a big one. We've talked about that and the incredible influence that Gavin has had over my life. But sound design is another thing that I find myself noticing more and more when it capital W works. And wow, we would pair a Tajer line reading with a great musical cue to really drive up that scare factor, and it was incredible.
It really was. Well, listen, horror pish posh. To be on this podcast, you have to be more than scary. You have to be queer. So let's discuss this episode in concepts of queer theory. Do we think A Tale of the Dangerous Soup works with a queer reading?
I could start us off. Oh, actually, I was gonna say, Marilee, your note is like amazing. So actually, if you start, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So listen, here's the thing. I'm always going to say something is queer. I will try and find a reading no matter where we go. I did not have to reach far for this one because personally, I think trauma bonding with your coworkers at a shitty job is a queer lived experience, and we claim that.
Oh boy. Boy howdy.
Yeah, does that resonate for you, Katie? Do you feel some vibes in that?
I mean, absolutely, right? Like, because not only, and we didn't get to see this as much, but it, like, you know, having a shitty job, complaining and talking about all that's going on, but then also talking shit. I wish there was a little more talking shit about your boss, because that's always fun in a shitty job to do. But absolutely, and that's how you sometimes find other queer people, is by how you talk about what's going on. And so
that is so true.
Yeah, that resonated.
I would have loved Nev Campbell being able, Nani, to throw a little bit more shade, because I think she had it. She had the capacity. It was definitely there in Paria 5. So I know that I know it's built in her toolbox. And I would have loved to have seen that deployed in this. Unfortunately, it's fortunate because it's an iconic line and it's a great thing to give to a guest star. She does the correction on Fink to Vink with the va. That would have been a fun moment for Shade, but she got to do the iconic line read, and so it's hard to give that up, you know?
Yeah. Plus, they're still meeting each other in that moment, so you're still kind of like feeling out what's the vibe gonna be. So you don't want to give it all away at first, you know? Is it safe
Plus,
to
it's
let
the
it all
interview
out?
when she mentions that, and it's like, as much as you might hate your boss, you don't want to talk shit during the interview. That's when you
still
hire
need a
them.
coworker.
Yeah, you still need the coworker, and then you talk shit after you trick them into working.
And then I don't remember when this happens in the episode, but at one point in time, Reed says, I've always had to do things on my own, and I'm not used to doing things on my own. It's this whole little speech that he gives to Nani is like a coming out speech. It does not feel like a stretch to get to. And then for a little less levity, I do think an abusive family member, whether that abuse was physical or emotional, is a very queer lived experience, or the fear of that being part of our family relationships is a very queer lived experience, that we felt like we were ourselves, we might be subject to violence. And so I think the inclusion of the uncle contributes to our queer reading of this media.
Especially because there is the threat of violence when the uncle reanimates. He grabs
absolutely.
Reed by the shirt collar, and I can imagine being a small child and having that kind of experience. It would be horrifying. No wonder Reed is so haunted when he walks into the Wild Boar restaurant. Like, this really does feel like a very queer episode, and it's an interesting contrast, because in our previous episode we talked about Over the Garden Wall, and we talked about how, you know, Cartoon Network during the time that it was being produced was very much on an anti-queer tirade in the pursuit of money. And, you know, going back 10 years, because this is literally 10 years before Over the Garden Wall premieres, and we're allowed to have those kinds of like illusions, and 20 years.
20 years.
My God.
Sorry.
Oh God, the passage of time.
Sorry,
Jesus Christ.
Tyler. You're scared now. Not prepared.
Now I'm scared because I'm old. But yeah, no, I feel like this. It's really nice and fascinating to see that we are allowed more opportunities for queer theory and analysis and representation, even if it is our own inference onto a character. That, you know, as time progresses, we have like an interesting period where it's like, oh yeah, let's have more queer, and then it's the flip. And that is definitely an unfortunate part of the passage of time, but it does make this show still resonant even 20 years after the fact.
Isn't it wild, Tyler, that we are talking about a space of 20 years from now? And in that period of time, I think what's happened is that the idea of sort of censoring speech has become more sophisticated. Like, we know your little tricks, you Hays Code naughty boys. We're gonna root all that out in Adventure Time. We're not gonna let Princess Bubblegum be like queer as fuck like she should be. We know what you're trying to do because we're not rubes anymore. And so then queer people, we have to become more creative at like tricking straight people into letting our stories get to air. And that I don't think is what's interesting about the 90s, is that you end up seeing more of it because we were just ahead of the game, and then the game caught up to us.
Not to mention, like in the early 90s, we were starting to be more open to the idea of representing queer people on television.
Right.
So I think that there is more opportunity to have that kind of space where, you know, an audience member could infer like, oh, well, I relate to this character and I also relate to having queer feelings. I could see myself expressed in this character in a multidimensional way.
Right.
And so I think that's a really nice factor to the show. And I'm glad that like this show is still available for kids to watch. And I think they've also revived it recently. Like I think it's still ongoing for kids, but probably I haven't watched it, so I can't speak. David is giving me a thumbs down, so it's probably not very good.
It's not a David.
Two thumbs down, in fact.
It's not a David recommend, especially because the original series is now just straight up available on YouTube.
Yeah, it's also on Paramount. I think it's on Amazon. It's very watchable.
Yeah.
Everyone. Well, now I think I'm gonna eat some delicious soup, have some potatoes, and watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
That sounds wonderful.
Well, anything else to say about queerness before we move into the plot beat by beat?
I'm ready to talk about queerness in the plot beat by beat. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, there's one thing I'll toss out. So I didn't read Reed and Noni's relationship as anything other than platonic, which could just be where I'm coming from in this day and age.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the sparks, but
No, I agree.
So, you know, one of the other things is that like Noni's fear is like closed spaces, closets, helping Reed, you know, face fears, be open, you know. I think there's things there too.
Oh my gosh.
Katie, would you like a job at Fear Code
Yes.
is? Would you like to join us permanently? Because that was genius.
That's great.
So good. Yeah.
Bye.
No, David has to
No,
stay.
y'all are good. Y'all are bringing in the good stuff. Don't discount yourselves.
I was the one who said pre-romantic. I kind of assume for every time a man and woman are talking, some exec somewhere is like, how now have them kiss. So
Yeah, fair.
I'm not saying I read it that way. I just know that it could be read that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree with you on that. I wrote some notes down about that regarding their relationship, platonic, romantic, whatever. So I'm excited to really dive into that.
I'm thinking back. There are a couple of close to relationship things in Are You Afraid of the Dark? But wow, man, there's a lot of siblings who go through things together. When I think back on the episodes, there's a lot of brother sisters. There's not a lot of like we're teens and we're dating. Although one of them was an episode I also considered pitching, just because there's a hot guy in an executioner's outfit.
Okay, so we would be getting the
first time
parallels either
Listen,
way.
I've got a standard default setting. I don't know what to tell you all.
Big burly executioners, David.
Yeah, what's up? Well then, let's jump into the plot beat by beat for Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of the Dangerous Soup. The episode begins with the Midnight Society sharing what scares them. A kid named Tucker proclaims he's not scared of nothing. Frank, a Canadian version of Rufio, and our narrator holds a mysterious box and admits that he's afraid of the dark. Frank then submits for the approval of the Midnight Society the Tale of the Dangerous Soup. The story begins with a young man in a strange metal room. He sits in a chair, which suddenly traps him. A hole in the wall opens, revealing a small statue of a gargoyle. A mysterious voice behind the young man says, "It knows what scares you." Out of nowhere, a snake crawls up the young man's leg, and he screams in fear.
They
What a
said
start.
the name of the show.
God, you're right. This is such a great start. Like the whole thing, like from front to like the end of where we talked, it's all so great. Like again, like that smoky gargoyle really lived in me. I don't know about other people who watch this, but like the visual of that is so striking. I also just would love to shout out the opening theme that we get every episode, which is so iconic. Like if you ask any kid who watched this show when they were young, they will tell you that Are You Afraid of the Dark is one of the top like themes that they saw when they were a kid, and like it's so good. And I also, this is a fear-coded fact, I love snakes. And so like I know that he's supposed to be afraid, but like if I look at that, I think, oh my gosh, what a beautiful python, look at her,
Come on up.
yeah. And I just think that she's great. I just, this whole section, I'm so in, I'm so there, I love it.
Yeah, I could not remember what happened, but the thought of being like alone in the room and then not being able to get out of your seat, right? Like the snake was scary, yeah, right? But I was like, oh my gosh, you're stuck.
Yeah.
That feels terrible.
Yeah.
That is really scary.
Imagine if you went into that room and you just sat in the chair and it just strapped you in, and that was all that happened because you just hate being restrained.
Honestly,
Like,
relatable. I don't
wow.
think I would
Yeah.
like being locked in a room and then locked in a chair in that room. Doesn't sound
no.
good to me.
Do you think?
Especially with the creepy industrial fans spinning.
Okay, but I love the fans. Great set design.
Oh,
Great
same.
set design. Just incredible
Absolutely.
choice. Because it's
Would
like
hate to be there though.
it's like, what is this room? What is this room? Is it the freezer? Like, where are these fans going? It doesn't matter. It's just
It's
vibes.
the fear room.
It's
Yeah.
the fear room. I do wonder, to your question of the if you're just afraid of being in a locked in chair, like you had a bad experience with a roller coaster. Do you think the gargoyle comes out and is kind of like, oh fuck, like
Again.
nothing to do? Like,
Hoping for something.
Yeah.
I woke
Or
up.
I wonder if the gargoyle is just thinking like, finally an easy one.
I never get a break from this. I'm constantly working. The gargoyle should unionize with the workers.
Yeah, they should all unionize against Dr. Vank.
Maybe that's the happy ending at the Oh, I do want to parrot what Marilee said, which is that the opening is just incredible. Even though I have watched all these, it's been a while since I've gone back to one, and even then I might have skipped the opening. But I'm watching for this, and especially for thinking about taking it as a clip. Gosh, just panning over things that are vaguely scary in like a blue light. It's so effective on a budget. Bravo. Are You Afraid of the Dark crew? Well done, you wacky Canadians.
I mean, the people that make like analog horror and stuff on TikTok should take notes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you know what's scary? A single match. That is actually kind of frightening to watch ignite.
Yeah.
well, we see the inside of a gorgeous restaurant and then are led to our seats by restaurant hostess Nani. Jersey, a loudmouth waitress, offers to read off the specials, but a recently seated couple know what they want: the soup. In fact, everyone in this restaurant is enjoying the soup. It turns out this soup tastes incredible and is very expensive. In the kitchen, Jersey gets upset when a platter of knives falls in front of her, but back in the dining room, the chef appears. A wild-looking man named Dr. Vink steps forward to wild applause as he is revealed to be the architect of this fabulous soup. Later, Nani interviews a tortured-looking young man named Reed, who doesn't see what the big deal is about this expensive soup. Reed is also not intimidated by Dr. Vink's theatrics about the soup, so Dr. Vink hires him on the spot.
Imagine being at a delightful potluck with your queer buddies. You might not have expected to find an ad on your plate right now. If you want to enjoy an ad-free listening experience, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to early and ad-free episodes on your very own podcast feed, and extra bonus content starts at $3 a month. So consider joining today at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. Now don't worry, we're never going to try to sell you a weekly meal package delivering Soylent Green straight to your door, but if you would like to skip ads just like this one, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast and support queer artists for as little as $1 a month. And now that this ad is done, you have plenty of room on your plate for, potatoes and molasses.
Man. Well, Katie, I'm curious to hear what you think of like our first descent into the restaurant and meeting Dr. Vink.
Yeah, well, I loved Jersey. And I only love Jersey more as the episode goes on. Jersey seems like a really fun coworker.
Yes.
And so was here for Jersey from the start. Dr. Vink is such a ham. Like coming out wearing a tiny little soup pan, like metal necklace thing. And then like putting his arms out, like, you know, give me the applause. Like I know he's doing well with this soup, but you know, he's got some theater in him.
Oh, it sure does.
God, you know he does that every night too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not only is he
Can't get
demanding
enough.
$100 a plate, but he is demanding your respect and applause every evening. And they give it to him because the soup's that good.
Freely.
I think one of the interesting things about that scene is you look around the restaurant and you see the clientele is almost entirely older people.
Yes.
So it's not just that it's adults, it's also that it's older people. And I think that's one of the things that Nickelodeon was really focused on doing in the 90s was that if there was a kid show and there was a bad guy, if it wasn't a bully, it was usually an old person. And I think like I don't know if that says anything about how we feel about the elderly or older people nowadays, like our generation of millennials, but like it does remind kids, I think, of like they're so old and different and wrinkly, and that's weird and uncomfortable. And then it could even remind them of death as well. And so I think like it's a very easy like way for the writers to show that like, oh, these are people that are bad news. Like they are older than you and they want to do something nefarious or greedy or something like that. And I think that's really cool because Dr. Vink is also an older man. Just because he looks like a wizard doesn't, you know, preclude him from being one of these like nasty old people.
Oh my God.
And I think that's really fun. And it was just something that I was reminded of. And I don't know if we really saw it in I Saw the TV Glow, but it is something that I was reminded of watching this episode.
What a great poll.
I didn't clock the like all being elders. What I really was like focused on was like, these are all rich people.
Yes.
You know, like these are folks that can spend $100. We even hear, I think potentially in this scene, some of the back of the house folks being like, can you imagine they like spending, if I had $100, I would not spend it on soup, you know?
Right.
So
Jersey says that.
The rich, again, gotta love Jersey. Another reason. But like the richness as being scary was like what was more forefront in my mind.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, this is the nice thing is that there were a lot of Nickelodeon programs that were sort of proto anti-capitalist, like that we were trying to give a message to children. So I think, Tyler, actually to bridge the conversation between what you brought up and what Katie brought up is that I think we are meant to infer that all of these old people are wealthy and they are complicit in the pain and suffering of our characters. And
totally
that makes them villainous. So it isn't just their age, but it is also their wealth. Okay. If I have a criticism of the episode, it is that we sort of did the most basic Mr. Monopoly wardrobing here for the patrons. But it you know what? It delivers and we only see them for a little while and then they're gone.
Plus, it's aimed at children.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like, you got to be obvious with this stuff.
Yeah. We showed some restraint. Nobody was wearing a literal Mr. Monopoly top hat, though. I wouldn't have hated it, truly.
No, imagine somebody with the monocle and the top hat and like the tux and tie. It would be too much.
Well, I'm kind of curious then about the price of soup and what the hell is going on with these old people, how they just have all this money laying around.
$100 for a bowl of soup in 1994 would be $221.60 in today's money, which makes it about as close as you can be to a feature soup from the Kai at Mayfair restaurant in London called Buddha Jumps Over the Wall, which was sold for $219 approximate. That is a transition. This is the Guinness World Records holder for most expensive commercially available soup, and it contains a shark's fin, abalone, a Japanese flower mushroom, sea cucumber, dried scallops, chicken, Huan ham, pork, and ginseng, and it must be ordered 5 days in advance because that is how long it cooks for.
Do they still serve it? Because I thought shark's fin was not legal anymore.
They no longer sell it, but the new most expensive commercial soup has not submitted to the Guinness Book of World Records. But would you like to know what it is?
Yes,
I'd love
obviously.
to.
Yeah.
For $390, you can have a bowl of soup in Las Vegas, Nevada, or in Hong Kong. They are the same operating restaurant group, and it is a soup that contains cordyceps mushroom fungus off of caterpillars.
No, thank you. You know, we had a
What?
whole The Last of Us show about how cordyceps are bad.
I knew it was going to come around to Katie's episode on gimmicks. Full circle here.
Yeah. Damn, that's wild.
Because I knew that you could buy cordyceps mushrooms just like previously harvested. I thought that it was just the ones from like the earth. This sounds like a terrifying thing that no one should eat. This actually sounds like the way The Last of Us starts, if I'm being honest.
A dangerous
Food has
soup.
been contaminated with cordyceps fungus.
Talk
So
about a dangerous soup, yeah.
Well, hate
Just
that.
incredible.
Bad.
Thank you for letting me share soup facts here on Fair Coded, a new segment that we'll be doing every episode.
thank God.
I'm honestly.
Oh no, now I'm not going to be the soup correspondent anymore.
Listen, I'm down to clown for soup facts. By the way, just throwing it out there. If we actually want to do this, sign me up.
And that's a soup fact.
Oh my God. I also adore that in Vink's theatricality, he drops a fear-coded standby of horror, which is spoken French. Just absolutely incredible. He uses the French words for dangerous soup, and I was like, yes, we got French in this episode.
Actually, David, it was Nev Campbell who said the French name for the soup.
thank
Le
you.
potage dangereux.
Wow, Tyler. Normally you hate the French.
I'm coming around. I'm starting to like the French.
Coming around on French. Interesting.
goodness.
Interesting.
They make an interesting soup.
Oh.
A dangerous soup.
Oh my God.
A dangerous soup.
I treasure this. Listen, all of that is great observations. Here's my dumb little note, is that I can't believe the restaurant is pulling in this much cash and they don't have a dedicated bookkeeper. Nani girl, know your worth. You can't be doing this.
They gotta unionize.
I almost read her as like the manager of the restaurant.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
it seems like that's her job because she's doing everything. And she's so pro Vink, at least here. Like, I know I made the joke about, like, trauma bonding in your workplace, but it seems like before Reed shows up, like, Nani is team Vink, and like she's trying so hard to be like her, like, his right hand, because she wants to like manage the restaurant and like move up in the world in this way. And like, that is an interesting thing, but like, you cannot be doing this. I hope he's paying you more than minimum wage. I don't think he is, though.
He's not. Yeah.
No, there's no way.
No way.
No way.
Just because this is sort of the introduction to him, I'd love to just celebrate Aaron Taser as Vink. Just a fantastic actor. And for our other Glitterjaw crossover, the voice of Cranky Kong in the Donkey Kong animated series television program.
Whoa. Okay, Super Mario moment.
Got range.
Yeah. He did pass away 6 years ago. Are You Afraid of the Dark fans made a significant contribution to charities that he valued and found important in his life. He was a huge philanthropist, and he passed away in 2019.
Oh, that's really lovely.
Damn.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about things that are less sweet. We learn that Reed is a loner with no family. He won't even get close to Nani, who is trying to become his friend. Still, life in the restaurant goes on, even though employees mysteriously keep quitting and then never talking to anybody involved in the restaurant ever again. When Dr. Vink catches Reed trying to sneak a forbidden second taste of the soup, Nani covers for him. Jersey appears and resolves the tension. She's upset, but Dr. Vink escorts her to a strange room where we saw the young man at the start of the episode. Jersey undergoes the same ritual with the gargoyle, and suddenly a pendulous blade appears above her, threatening to chop her. Nani and Reed confront Dr. Vink, who has been cackling evilly as he watches a green elixir appear in a little vial outside of the room. It's insane. He frees Jersey, who has no memory of the experience, and she promptly quits and leaves.
I'm with Katie. I was sort of pro Jersey from the very beginning. I could never understand if she was from Jersey and this was a nickname or if that was her name. It doesn't matter. I love her. Loud, I'll show you Loud, and then banging on pots and pans. I was like, marry me and let's open a restaurant where we are just bad at our jobs and loud together. This is incredible.
Incredible.
I absolutely believe that they were like, we need a girl to be really loud here. Let's call her Jersey. 100%.
Oh, incredible.
She really does such a wonderful job, though. I love the banging of the pots and pans thing.
So
I
good.
love that Nani and Reed are having like a whole conversation outside while this is happening, and they keep getting interrupted by Jersey's antics, and Dr. Vink is just there like covering his ears.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch.
The juxtaposition, because I think this is like the heartfelt I'm opening up Reed, and Jersey's just fucking banging on pots and pans and screaming in the kitchen. And Nani's even like, should we like go check? And he's like, hold on, I'm almost finished.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta get
I've
this
got a
out
couple
real
more things
Yeah.
to say.
Incredible.
Very queer, though.
Yeah.
That's a very queer-coded thing to be like, no, this is about me right now.
Yeah,
Wait, refocus.
Yeah. Incredible.
It's giving like dating simulator where you're like, wait, something else is happening, but they're like, no, I've got like 5 more minutes of tragic backstory for you. You can't move on with the other plot just yet. Oh, I love her.
I do want to talk about that scene though, because that heartfelt scene is the one that we've kind of circled around. Like now that we're actually here in this moment, do we still like really feel strongly that this is kind of like his coming out to her in a sort of way?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, because it's not like I'm queer, but it is sort of like I've got a secret to tell. I'm worried about how you'll feel about it if I tell you. Like, these are words that I feel like I said to the Nev Campbells in my life. Truly and honestly. This probably, because I watched it before I came out, this probably gave me language that I would turn around and use in a few years.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. That's actually really a nice and interesting pull, because it's again that kind of representation that we kind of, I guess we did grow up with that, right? Like, this is like, we're the generation that grew up with Willow and Tara. Like, this is the generation that, you know, we, especially when this was coming out, like, we were still dealing really from the AIDS crisis. Us queer kids, like, even if we didn't know that we were queer at the time, we were still able to get this language from the media that we watched. Right. And I think in that way, it's actually such an interesting companion piece to I Saw the TV Glow. Because I feel like the DNA here is of that same DNA as the movie. Like, we're able to see ourselves in these characters who are in a fraught situation because we ourselves were characters in fraught situations.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. That makes like Nani's reaction to Reed's sharing even more like beautiful, because it's not like a grossed out or a why are you telling me this thing. It's like a thanks for sharing, you know, I appreciate this. Now let's go see what's happening in the kitchen.
Now, back to work.
Back to business. Something weird's happening.
Yeah. Can we talk about the greenish colorblind? So maybe not green.
Oh, very
liquid,
very
green. Yeah.
glowy green.
Very green.
The green elixir that is coming from the fear. I love this prop design. I think the production on this is incredible. I love later when it's like faster because it's harder to scare him. I just think this whole thing is so good.
Oh, it's incredible.
I love the vial. The vial being designed to look
vial.
like it's snake fangs.
Oh, incredible.
Is genius. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, David, this is a very like bright supernatural kind of green. So clearly to the audience, if you're looking at this, it's like there's something up with that.
Yeah,
vial.
that's not a good natural vial. This is not like filled with blueberry juice or something.
Yeah. And matches, like the soup is also that kind of like toxic, and the vats that it's cooked in are kind of big, remind me of barrels, right? Yes. So there is this sort of like neon green. What really got me though is that the cabinet was not locked. So what, like, nobody has ever opened that besides Dr. Vink.
Okay, so
I constantly open stuff at work.
Can I talk about this real quick? So, like, here's the thing. When Jersey first walks into the area where the gargoyle is stored, she's like, oh, this freezer, this doesn't work. And he's like, no, go ahead in there. The secret's in there. And then, like, closes and he doesn't lock it because Nani's able to open it later. But, like he's standing in front of the door so she can't get out, right? Here's the thing. I have not personally worked in a restaurant, but this is the thing that everybody says. Like, when you work in a service job, especially a restaurant, you go into the walk-in freezer and have a breakdown, right? Like, this is where you go to, like, be away from the customers. And, like, watching this and hearing Jersey say that, it just brought to mind the singular question, which doesn't actually matter, but it was obsessing to me. Do you think that the gargoyle feeds on the servers having breakdowns in that empty freezer? Like, because that is where people go to scream. That's, like, the thing. Do we think that it gets nutrients from that, or is it the wrong kind of emotion?
Too toxic. Too toxic. We're in a Monsters Inc. situation. Like, is the laughter better than screams? What is the long-term longevity on this, Merrily? What are we doing?
Simply, I don't know. But, like, if I'm having a stressful day at work with my Dr. Vink, and maybe all of the rich people are being weird, and I just want to take a minute to, like, go in someplace that's at least relatively soundproof and have a little scream. What do we think?
You should be allowed to. You should be allowed to without some creepy boss being like, it knows what scares you. Leave me alone, God.
It's just that other customer that materializes.
Merrily's question
that'd be so bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If it fed on stress instead, that'd be bad.
That's like the Are You Afraid of the Dark for adults.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you can't get the right portion of the plate.
It knows what stresses you.
Oh, God. We'd be a never-ending buffet.
Oh, God, for real.
Merrily's supposition has also made me wonder, like, could we get a Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares for the Wild Boar? Like, could we like do a Kitchen Confidential on this and, like, see somebody behind the scenes being like, you should really fix this freezer, and then poor Vink in a confessional being like, I can't fix the freezer because it knows what scares you.
I was wondering, like, there's the guy walking around with all of the knives and dropping them, right? Like, is there other things in the soup besides the fear juice? Like, do they cook anything else in the Wild Boar besides the soup?
Great question.
I have many thoughts.
There's so many different ingredients of all different kinds in that kitchen that they talk about, and it's just like, I truly don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's green. It looks like pea soup. It looks like Reagan just, is cooking.
Yeah. Reagan from Exorcist, not
The Exorcist,
not Ronald, comma.
Yeah.
Well, Reagan is cooking right now, believe me.
Tyler, I would like you to know that was pea soup. That is what they served in order to create it's watered down canned pea soup.
Disgusting.
Production design.
Dangerous.
And they did have to eat it, and so it was a little grotesque, according to folks who were interviewed.
Katie has it right. It's dangerous.
Yeah, that is dangerous soup.
Dr. Vink explains that the gargoyle statue is from a tribe of warriors who never fought. Rather, they used the gargoyle to terrify their enemies and then drank an elixir of their liquefied fear. This elixir is what makes the dangerous soup so delicious. Reed refuses to believe, so Dr. Vink invites him to prove his bravery before the gargoyle. Inside, Reed initially isn't afraid, but then Dr. Vink reads Reed's mind and sees that Reed's fear isn't knives or snakes. Reed's fear is his abusive uncle, whose coffin manifests before him. Reed can't believe his eyes, and so he opens the lid to see his uncle, who comes back to life, grabbing Reed by the collar. Nani panics at the sound of Reed's screams and opens the door. The gargoyle animates and takes flight, soaring out of the restaurant. The gargoyle is now free to terrorize anyone it wishes. Dr. Vink gives chase after it.
I was so shook that they went there with Reed's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, truly was.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect them to be like, hey, let's talk about an actual fear that a child might have, or a young adult might have, and then show it and make it even scarier on top by making the uncle come back to life.
Yes.
Like, and the way that this actor revives is like the perfect way to scare the shit out of someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, you seem to resonate while I was reading the plot description. Were you also like, my man, if you're psychic, do you need to be serving this soup?
I was wondering, like, what was happening in that moment, and was interested in yours all's perspective, because in the previous scenes when we see the people getting scared, he's just saying it knows what your fears are, right? And it knows what scares you. And it's not like I know what scares you, but then he is able to, like you said, read his mind. And so I was like, does the gargoyle are they connected in some way, shape, or form?
That was my thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
there has
Honestly.
to be. Like, given how the episode ends and the conversation we're gonna have around that, I would fully believe that the two of them are connected in some way.
Okay.
Like it gave him some sort of power to read the fear in someone's mind. But maybe it's also just a thing that Dr. Vink
Yeah,
can
he's
do.
weird,
Like,
right?
I'm not familiar with my Are You Afraid of the Dark lore on
lore?
recurring characters, but he seems like a evil wizard type of guy. So when he was able to do that, I was not that confused or surprised.
Yeah, it seems all right. But
I love how you all are reading it. Truly and honestly, this is beautiful and brilliant, and I feel like the worst person in the world. But this was a script addition, because in the table read, they felt like it wasn't clear what the coffin was. And so they added some dialogue for Vink to fill in the blanks, which I think really sold the scene. But I love all the stuff that you all are coming up with. This is so beautiful. Yay, Dr. Vink.
Listen, speaking of him,
Children's television.
Yeah.
It's makes the creative juices flow.
Absolutely. But here's my thing. My very dumb joke that I'm going to say, and nobody else is going to laugh, but I'll laugh, so I'll do it anyway, is that one of Vink's doctorates is an exposition, because that man, he's a doctor exposition if I've ever heard one.
Truly. Here,
I love that.
It is the heaviest coat of paint right here. He was like, we got to get all this out here real fast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. And here's the thing, because I do think you need him connecting the dots for us about what the coffin and the man is, but I didn't actually need to know any lore about the gargoyle.
No,
the gargoyle activates and a juice comes out. This is like the least needed exposition.
Ew.
Yeah.
I hated it because it was like, oh no, we put colonialism in my Are You Afraid of the Dark? Damn it.
Yeah, because they specifically use the word savage too to like bring up connotations of like this, right? The stereotype we see about people in other countries and in the past and all that kind of stuff. But then it was also extra confusing because he's like this like backwater savage tribe of warriors who also has this super advanced piece of like magical technology. So it's like,
pick a lane.
Yeah.
No, and you know, the other very funny thing about this is that he is giving this exposition specifically to Reed and Nani. He did not explain any of that to Jersey or presumably anybody else. So it's like just whatever whatever Reed has that's so compelling to Vink has him like really fully walk through the steps for whatever reason.
Yeah. Why is Vink so like I know it's actually because he's like Reed says he's not afraid of things. But like Vink, if anybody interviewed like Reed did, how did they get any job, right? So Vink has like such a thing for Reed. It was very weird.
Yeah. Here's
I think it's because go ahead, David.
For Vink lore, here is the gap I will fill in for all of you. He is actually a different character every time with one unifying trait, which is theatricality. And so truly and honestly, I think he's doing it to commit to the bit. He's like, I've got a story to tell, and by gosh, I've got an audience who wants to listen. Here we go.
I love that then. But you know, like I think that like the point is that he thinks that the more denial that Reed has, the stronger like the final product is gonna be, I guess.
Yeah. That was my inference.
Yeah, but like truly there's no reason for this. He just like, yes, I will put my doctorate from Juilliard to good use here.
Yeah.
I love that a doctorate from Juilliard means that he's actually just a doctorate of acting, which totally makes sense.
That's what he does.
That's what David just described.
That's what he is. That's what he is. He's a camp queen. We stand Dr. Vink.
For real. Before we move on, can we please talk about the CGI gargoyle?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I wasn't going to bring this up after doing research about the CGI. Because when I saw it, I was like, wait a second, 1994, Nickelodeon, produced in YTV. This is some expensive CGI for the age. This is, and for all intents and purposes, listen, I think you could have done this with a rubber bat. Like, I don't think this needed expensive CGI, and yet here it is. But the director, DJ McHale, who did quite a few episodes, said that this is like the thing he regrets the most. That the effect of the gargoyle flying looks bad, and he still hears about it and jokes about it, and the jokes keep coming back to haunt him even to this day.
Oh, buddy. I hate that to hear
Poor
that.
DJ McHale.
You know, the demons won on this one. I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't think it looked that bad. No, I thought it looked charming in 90s CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked out of its time.
Yeah.
Again, you know, sometimes the things that are bad are actually good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It didn't take me out. It looked like it was flying away, and it flew away. It comes back somehow, but, you know, it just misses its home.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. So Reed and Nani struggle with what to do. Suddenly, the gargoyle, its return, guys, is now huge. And yes, it has. Let me redo this.
No, this is incredible.
No, it's perfect.
I'm keeping it all in. David, keep this in. So this gargoyle, it has returned. It's huge now. It's torturing Reed and Nani with light, wind, a shattered window, and then eventually the snake from the beginning of the episode, which I agree with you, Merrily. It's a beautiful looking snake, and that comes from someone who is afraid of snakes. Nani falls into the fear chamber. Reed yells for her to keep her mind clear, that there's nothing in the room that can hurt her. That's when Nani admits her fear. She's claustrophobic. The room is her fear. That actually worked really well for me.
Agreed.
Good job, Nev Campbell.
Agreed.
The walls start closing in on her. Reed keeps insisting for her to face her fear, and that's when he realizes what he must do. Reed heads to the dining room, where he encounters the standing coffin of his uncle. His uncle emerges and stomps, zombie-like, to Reed. Reed shouts that the uncle before him isn't real, that it can't hurt him, and eventually that his uncle no longer controls him. Reed leaps forward, either attempting to tackle or hug his uncle, who has suddenly disappeared. Reed goes to rescue Nani, who has collapsed on the floor but is otherwise unharmed. Reed jokes that Dr. Vink won't be making his soup anymore, only to be corrected by Dr. Vink. On the other side of the door, the gargoyle has returned, and Dr. Vink tells the trap duo that he thinks he'll be making his soup for a long time. Dun, dun, dun!
Oh my goodness.
One of the few downer endings in Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. Usually the kids win the day. Of course, my favorite, and I'm not alone in this in the Are You Afraid of the Dark fandom, but the favorite episodes are the ambiguous or the quote bad endings, because they were a little bit more fun and a little less like the hero won the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost always just a tinge of it's Twilight Zone-esque, like, oh, you think you won, but it's
or Outer Limits, as well.
Outer Limits is probably the better one on this. Good job, Tyler. But this is the one that is like truly like, no, you are stuck in a horror cycle, and like you will not get out until they unionize with the gargoyle, and then everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of the gargoyle, this is kind of the thing I was talking about earlier. Like, do we think this was all on purpose, and the escape thing was a bit that Vink did to get them both in there at the same time, and like to heighten up the fear thing? Because like if they have a connection, then maybe that's why. Like the fact that Reed was not able to like open the door to the freezer, which has already been proven that like isn't locked, or at least it wasn't locked, and that's why like Nani was able to open the door, and like the fact that at the very end the gargoyle is exactly where it was in the beginning, even though we never see it going back in there, it's still contained. Like, was this a bit or was this bad writing? How do we feel?
Honestly, like Merrily, I think that this was all Vink's plan. Like Dr. Vink seems, and this feels like the kind of show where the bad guy can be that complex and like unrealistic with how manipulative and nefarious he is. So to me, this feels like it was all his plan.
Like, I don't know why he did it, but it feels, at least to me, that this was it kind of ended where he wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think if like we go down the line of like the Gargoyle and Vink have a connection and can communicate some way, shape, or form, or give each other, they have some sort of deal where they support one another in their endeavors. I totally see this as them like working together to get these two that have such juicy juice kind of stuck in there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that.
One of the things
I love that
I was interested in is like how potentially the like mind erasing stuff happens and if that comes into play at all and when for the two that are kind of left in there.
Yeah. Will they constantly go through a cycle of forgetting why they're there, getting scared again, forgetting again? That could not be on Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's an adult's series. That has
but it's that interpretation though, because as a kid I absolutely would have thought that.
Yeah. That's
like,
cool. That's cool.
Even like just because you're a kid doesn't mean you can't think of nightmare scenarios.
Yeah,
like
listen,
that. Like
some people had anxiety disorders as a child.
Thought that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's just describing the podcast now, merrily.
Yeah.
Incredible. Loved this tale. Loved it so very much.
Yeah. So let's close the episode out. The tale has concluded. Tucker says that the story was weak and that the room wouldn't have worked on someone who has no fear, just like him. Frank offers a chance for Tucker to prove his bravery, just like Dr. Vink did. Frank reveals that the wooden box he's been carrying has a hole in the front, perfect for a hand. If Tucker is so brave, then he should reach his hand inside to see what's in there. Tucker makes an attempt, but chickens out and runs off. The remainder of the society laugh, and one person asks what is inside. Frank opens the lid and says, just what Tucker's afraid of. Nothing.
Oh,
So good.
So good.
Oh, 10 out of 10.
So good.
10 out of 10.
Can't believe Frank brought the Gom Jabbar from Dune to the Midnight Society.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love this capsule. I think exploring fears is very interesting because they do set up some parameters in the first section, which is like, you can't be slasher movies. This has got to be like normal things that people are afraid of. What's your normal thing that you're afraid of? And to sort of explore that Tucker's bravado that was brought on by a type of toxic masculinity that we then see mirrored in Reed. This whole thing, it doesn't need to work this well. Again, I was already bought into watching this series because it's how to be a teenager. And yet this is some exemplary television. This was a fantastic episode, and I think the capsule goes a long way to delivering that promise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it's just another one of those things that I think is so critical for kids to learn, is the importance of fear and why we need to face our fears. And that also, like, sometimes our fear is nothing. It's empty. It's hollow inside, just like the Gom Jabbar box that Frank brought with him. Like, I think that is like so critical. And I don't know, I don't keep up with kids' entertainment or media. So I don't know what the landscape looks like at all. Katie, I know you've had experience reading like young adult and kids like media, like books and stuff on novel gaming. Do you kind of have like a take of where things are right now and if there's anything like this happening?
Probably not as like widespread, and I'd be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on this too. I mean, I do think there is one of the other books we read semi-recently that I'm blanking on the name of it was a book for like young adults. Maybe, I don't think it was like a middle grade book. I think it was young adult. But it was about like high school shootings and ghosts and racism and stuff.
The Taking of Jake Livingston.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Marilee, who knows things better than I do. Yes. And so there is very much like still a line of media that explores very real fears and says it's okay if this is what like scares you because it is scary. I'd be interested. I have something on Tucker's nothingness, but I want to hear y'all's thoughts or exposures to like different kid stuff or young adult stuff and kind of where the landscape is in your eyes.
Yeah. I think there's still a lot of hope for media to be available for children that is horror related, horror adjacent, and horror inclusive. I mean, I'm not just doing this because he's a friend, but I think Hamish's Dead End Paranormal Park that aired on Netflix is a fine example of an opportunity to bring horror to children in a way that is accessible and meaningful. I do think what we're missing is the anthology version of this, which is what Are You Afraid of the Dark contributed, and what I think it's reboot, reimagining, whatever the word is for what they did, was going for, was to try to bring this model back. But there was I think the faults of it was there was too much, you've got to watch every episode, and not enough of just being like, it's okay for these people to just have a relationship. This is not something that we need to necessarily track the progress of 1, 2, 3. And I mean, I'll make the same criticism of the Babysitter Club series that went on, which was taking something that's a very independent book by book experience that has a little bit of growth for the characters and forcing it into a serialized structure. And gosh, last week I was like, let's get a streaming model for Over the Garden Wall, and this week I'm like, no more streaming models for media. Like, let things be old television. You just can't win with me, Hollywood. You just can't win. But I think this is where this is needed. Now, Tyler and Marilee, you're a little bit more connected with this, but I actually think that in the novel space, like Goosebumps is still ongoing. There's still a lot of, I think, children's books that work really well.
No, I just, I do spend a lot of time with my niece and nephew, so I do have a little bit more exposure to children's media, but like not live action stuff. So if there is a show like Are You Afraid of the Dark for kids right now, I don't know what it is. But I do think that my nephew would like it. So, hit me up with your recs, my friends. But I think that children's media is such a different landscape now than it was when Are You Afraid of the Dark is on. I genuinely don't know that a show like this would work anymore, or like it would be so different, it would be completely unrecognizable.
Right.
Which it kind of sounds like that's what you're describing, David, with the reboot. Is it's just not the old thing.
Well, and I even wonder back to last October and even the bonus episode that we did for Patreon last month, is maybe this space for children is also the amateur space now. Maybe internet accessible horror and creepypastas are a different way that children are accessing horror related medium. Like, I am not on preteen TikTok. I don't know what these folks are being exposed to. And hopefully that there is some good quality entertainment that's being both made by their peers and made by people slightly older than them for younger audiences.
Listen, I'll tell you, my nephew loves Poppy's Playtime, or whatever that horror game series is. That's not Freddy Fazbear, but it's like in that same sort of vein. So like the children long for horror stuff.
Yeah, I think what's missing though is the moral lesson behind these things, because so from what I noticed, this is mostly about video games. And something I noticed, especially with like, it started with Five Nights at Freddy's, which you should not buy. The creator is a horrible transphobe and
he will he will take your money and put it to something bad. Do not give him money.
Yep. So do not give money to that franchise. But I know that got extremely popular. Poppy's Playtime got really popular because that kind of started off a wave of like animatronic, the place is abandoned after dark and now you're exploring and everything's come to life kind of genre. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but like Skibbity Toilet is supposed to be like horror for kids, but it's also like the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen in my life, which I'm trying not to sound like a boomer when I say that, because when I was a kid, I loved stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it feels like the stupid shit that's stupid now is so much dumber. Because that's lacks...
being an adult.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but
I am a boomer.
I do think that you're right though, because like it's the AI slop. It's like the inshitification of everything.
Yeah.
And like it's so much easier to make a bad product now and have a way to distribute it to a million eyeballs. So like that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think we're just missing something that has some sort of like foundational lesson for kids to learn, because it doesn't feel like that is being done so much anymore. I think like you find that maybe more in like younger like aimed children's shows like Bluey. Bluey teaches like moral lessons and how to interact with people and how people are different and all that stuff. It's great. But we need like the horror Bluey. Does that
I
make
would
sense?
love a horror
Bluey
Bluey.
might have. They've got to have.
Oh no! Did
something,
I just?
Right?
I think I just made the title.
They don't really have a horror unless there's a secret hidden episode of Bluey that isn't on Disney Plus.
I just feel like they deal with. I've like watched a good amount of episodes, and they deal with such like things that I would never expect a kid show to. I would have just assumed there was something around like fear that was like a little.
There is
scary.
a little bit of that in the episode and season 2 movies where again I've watched every episode with my niece. It's one of her favorite shows. In season 2, there's an episode where Bandit, the dad, goes to the movies with Bingo and Bluey, and Bluey wants to go see this movie because all of her friends have seen it and it's like the popular thing, but she's a little nervous because it's got like a thunderstorm in it and she's scared of thunderstorms. And Bingo is 4 and doesn't understand the social contract of the movie theater. And so like so there's a lot of tension between Bluey, who wants to be at this movie but is really nervous about the upcoming thunderstorms scene, versus Bingo, who is running rampant, and Bandit, who's like trying to go to the movies with his daughters.
Yeah.
So that is as close as I can think of.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think this is so interesting to talk about. I want to touch on this more as the month progresses, because I think it's so fascinating, because like the rest of our media is for this month, it's
older,
from the 90s.
Yeah, it's older. There's
Yeah.
so this is, we really don't have any modern stuff. We should have done
future month. That could be a future month theme, you know.
Listen, there's always more media. You're gonna hear it from us.
Always more media. But
Very
Katie,
true.
before we move off of this, you still had something to say about nothing.
Oh yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about
tell
nothing.
us about
Talk
the
about
nothing.
nothing with me.
Yes. Well, one, I was Googling. Roblox does have some horror stuff. I've never played Roblox. I don't know what it is, truly, but there's something in there. That maybe that's where the kids are getting their scary stuff outside of books. But the nothingness. I was reading, and someone said this, and I can't remember who said something about like, you know, you can be afraid of nothing, sort of thing. So Tucker's like bravado around the nothingness, like to me read as like a false bravado.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
He is actually afraid to say what it is. So he's not actually afraid of nothing. He's afraid of something, but doesn't want to share. And then like Frank's kind of twisting of the words. And when he opens the lid and truly shows nothing, such great wordplay, but also so fucking satisfying when somebody's like talking a big game and you know it's not true and they're kind of annoying about it, and you're like, actually, fuck you. So good.
How great, Katie, would that be on like a lip sync challenge? Just to read you this little scene. It would be incredible.
Incredible.
Pull it off.
good.
Yes.
Put that shit on
Yeah.
Dracula.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Brothers.
Ooh.
We don't even need
Yeah.
RuPaul.
Come on, Boulay.
Yeah, let's do the real thing.
Listen, they'll actually put like a spider or shit in there. Don't.
It's not nothing
Good point.
for them.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, how did we feel about the episode The Tale of the Dangerous Soup in terms of horror or queerness after our conversation? And do any of you have some final thoughts for this episode?
Well,
Katie, please.
I was just going to say, one, thank you so much for like inviting me to be on this and like watching this with y'all. It was really fun to watch. And this happens in novel gaming too. Talking about it with smart people makes me appreciate it even more. So I like, you all brought up things that I didn't consider and insights into how or why something might have been done this way, or here's a different reading of it. And I just really appreciated all of that. So I liked it before and I like it even more now after hearing y'all and being able to talk with y'all about it.
Yeah.
Katie, oh my goodness, that means so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, like
It's the truth.
when we conceptualized this month, it was like truly we were all very excited. It's like, oh my gosh, finally we can have Katie on. So
Yeah. And what a fun episode to
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh.
with you.
Yeah.
You were so delightful. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on here.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We just found a killer soup recipe, but the biography of this chef is weird. You can find more mysterious recipes by following us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Fear Coded Pod. And Katie, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you and what you're working on if you'd like to be found?
Yeah, and thank you again for having me on here. Folks can find me on the aforementioned Novel Gaming podcast, where I talk with friends Vicky and Doug about video games and books, and then some other pop culture stuff we're reading, watching, thinking about sort of thing. In Instagram and Blue Sky, I believe we are at Novel Gaming Pod. And we also have a YouTube channel where we sometimes take little snippets of our podcast and just like put some video game stuff over it. Mm-hmm. But we also play, Doug and I mostly, we'll play some games together and put it on there as well. So it's fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
And there's some scary games in the backlog.
We played Man of Medan.
The only experience I have with Man of Medan is watching Doug and Katie play through it.
I did not do well.
I know.
I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us. It was a true and honest pleasure.
Yeah. Absolutely. You are more than welcome back anytime.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Thanks. Y'all are so nice.
Aw.
It's just true, though. Well, Katie, you're great.
I mean, the same is true of all y'all.
Listeners, if you think we're great, you can support the podcast and join the Bats in Our Belfry by subscribing to the Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. You can show your appreciation at one of 3 levels. Early and ad-free episodes are available as low as $1 a month, and there is accompanying bonus content starting at $3 a month. This month, we've got an episode all about Balatro.
Fear Coded is a proud part of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. If you'd like to listen to more queer media podcasts, check out the full roster of shows at glitterjaw.com.
And join us next time as we sit in tiny chairs at the kids' table, pick up unnecessary relics that cause us to be cursed, and play the point-and-click horror adventure Uninvited. Very important if you're playing along with us that we will be playing the NES port for the Nintendo Entertainment System, not the original Mac Venture game, which is available now on Steam. So check out Uninvited on the NES if you'd like to follow along with us. But until that time, we shall simply say goodbye.
Bye.
I don't know why I kept talking, Tyler. I'm going to cut it out of the edit.
Sometimes gross-looking things taste better than good-looking things.
It's true.
That's very true.
That's the thing. That explains my marriage. David, cut that.
And that's a soup fact.